Hello, beginning band, and welcome to your tutorial on how to fill out the pink sheet warm-up. The pink sheet warm-up, you'll see here the instructions. Says on the other side of this page is some sheet music. You need to write in all of the missing notes on the correct rhythm. Note that the last note in each line is a whole note. Write as neatly as possible, as you need to be able to read this music and play it. So you're writing this to look neat for you. You're going to be the one who's actually reading it and playing it. Make sure that you write notes that you know how to play. For example, if the C that you've been taught is, one that's below the staff, then write that one. You should be using pages 4 and 5, lines 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 for your reference. If your book teaches you the F that's on the top line of the treble clef, then don't write in the F that's on the bottom space. And if the is teaching you the F that's on the bottom space, don't write the one on the top line. Write the 5 notes that you learn on lines 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9 in your book. Don't make this more complicated. Couple things to note, depending on what instrument you play. Like, for example, if you play the trombone, your whole note line will look exactly like this. You can copy this. If you're playing clarinet or trumpet, well, on the other side, the half note line that you do will look exactly like this. You have this as a reference. If you're your line like this on the eighth note line. So each one of you already have one of your lines pretty much done for you. You just need to copy it when you're doing the other side of the page. If you're playing trombone, flute, you learn notes that have flats in front of them, such as B flat or E flat. Very, very important. Even though we call it B flat, the flat actually comes before the note on the staff. So even though we play B flat, we write it as flat B. We play E flat, but we write it on the staff as flat E. So that's a really important thing to designate. All right, let's turn the page over, and I'm going to help out each section with their whole note line. Okay, all kind of at the same time. Okay. So, let's see if we can look at all these at the same time. And they can all fit on the screen. Cool. All right, so I'm a flute player. And I'm going to write out whole notes for this warm-up. I have a B flat written out for me. I'm now playing a C. I'll put that carefully on the C space. D. E flat with the flat in front. And F. Again, this is me as a flute or a keyboard percussionist. Now, I think you can do the rest. You just write this E flat here, this D here. It's already done for you. You just keep going. Again, as a trombonist, I'd write my C and my D on the third line of the bass clef. My E flat there, my F. And then I'd keep going. Again, because I'm a trombone player and I'm playing bass clef. If I'm a clarinet or a trumpet, my C is down here below the staff. Then I write my D that sits here right below the staff, my E on the bottom line, my F on the bottom space, and my G on the second line. I wouldn't do stuff up here because I don't know that note yet. So I wouldn't draw an F up there. That would not be good. I'd want the F on the bottom space. And then you'd keep going with the whole notes. And you can finish the rest of that yourself. Then as I go on to the half note line. Half note line here for the flutes. Again, I've got B flat written out for me. I add my C with the stem going down, my D with the stem going down, my E flat with the stem going down, and my F with the stem going down. And you keep right on going through the rest of the line, again, as a flute player. As a trombone player, I've got my C with the stem going up, my D note, I can do either. I can have the stem pointing up or down because they're both okay because it's on that third line. I'm going to choose up. E flat, I'm above that third line, so now my stem goes down. On F, my stem goes down. And keep going throughout that. Half note line for clarinets and trumpets. Got half note there right below the staff. Bottom line, bottom space. And then continue on throughout and finish with your half notes. Now going back to the flute page, flute page, and percussion page. Now I've got quarter notes. So now I'm going to have a filled in note head with the stem pointing down. All stuff we did in the 101 packet together, if you'll remember. And then you keep going and finish the rest of the line with quarter notes. Okay. For our trombone friends, we're in bass clef. C, D. This time I'm going to have the stem go down just because I feel like it. And continue on with E flat and D. Of course, you need your flat to be... You need your flat in front of the note. And in clarinet and trumpet land, E, F is done for us, and G, and we can finish the rest of the line. Now we have eighth notes. And you can make your eighth notes look like this, where you group them in fours together. That's fine, or you can group them in twos. I'm going to do a combination of both so you can see that you have those options. Here's B flat C. Again, I'm on the flute percussion page now. D, E flat. Those go together. Those are barred together. And if I want to, I could go ahead and make it a group of four. It doesn't really matter. F flat, D, C, okay, and so again I can get that. I don't have the neatest handwriting in the world, but I do know that this, for me to be able to read it and play it. Maybe I wouldn't want to hand this music to somebody else and say, here's a great piece of sheet music to read, but I can read my own handwriting well enough to play this, and then I could continue on with the rest of the eighth notes. Trombone player, B flat, C, D. And Morgan, I haven't forgot about you, but I think you can do this on your own. You can transfer all of this to what you're doing. Just give Morgan a little shout out there. People in the other three classes are like, who's Morgan? Don't worry about it. You'll get to meet her someday. She's delightful. And flatten to the same end, going up through with trombone. And in clarinet land. And trumpet land. Going through with my solid filled in note heads on eighth notes. And I go on to the next measure. I'd have to draw in my ledger line below the staff and could go on. Okay, so that should be enough information. Gosh, I just did, the first half of every line with you. So hopefully you were able to finish that, write that out in a neat way. And once you have this done, we will start playing it every day in class. So, yeah, get ready. And those of you that are working with your metronome, we're going to start in class playing this at quarter note equals 40. That's what we're going to start it at when we start doing it in class. And the goal will be at quarter note. This is super easy at 40. You just hold out the note with a great long tone. This pretty easy at 40. This pretty hard at 40 at first. And darn near impossible at 100 for right now. This is easy even at 100. They start to get more and more challenging. And as you work on playing these things, it's so important as a percussionist that you keep your mallets close to the keys. As a trumpet player and a clarinet player and a flute player, you keep your fingers close to the keys and the valves so that you can move them faster. And as a trombone player, that you have that relaxed wrist so you can move very, very quickly through all of these. But we'll work on that more in class. Right now, you just worry about getting the written part done. I'll see you next time in class. Thank you.